Asbonge City Danko Sanbonani Dumelang Kaufela. Welcome to another episode of Amatyma series in partnership with Bogat Radio. We get to have conversations with different men who are single, married, divorced, and widowed. And the beauty about this particular show is that we actually never have any topics.
Yeah.
And the reason we never have topics is because we want people to drive the topics, and you'll see how it goes. I'm excited to welcome my dear brother Bonko Khoza. For many of you who don't know him, he's a well-respected actor. He's a businessman. He's a producer. Yeah. Creative, all-round creative. What do we call you, Gatlagate? Like, how do we position you?
Child of God.
Child of God.
Child of God, man. Thank you so much, TT, brother.
Welcome, my brother.
It's so good to be here.
It's so good to have you. You know, you and I have had a conversation previously on the Amatyma Wellness Network. I think we went live on Instagram.
Yeah,
I was doing that whole Amatyma check-in, where I just check in on the brothers. You know, I think we don't do enough of that. You know, we are all, hustling and pushing this life that we forget just to pick up the call, just to say, Amatyma, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm phoning next. I'm so actually tired. I posted something last week on my WhatsApp status, and I said, I'm not your yellow pages. Stop calling me when you want someone's number only. Like, you never call me when you want to check things as a grand.
No.
People just use people for whatever they can get out of them, right?
No, 100%. Especially with the industry that we're in, bro.
Especially the industry that you're in.
Especially the industry we're in. And, I don't blame people, but maybe I might blame the ambitions that we have that seem to go beyond, firstly, their own wellness, their own well-being.
Sure.
And then that will translate into not giving, not caring about the other person too.
You want to say not giving a damn?
I'm not saying not giving a damn. Can I say it?
You wanted to curse? Are we allowed to curse, Ronnie?
No, shame.
Of course you're not allowed to curse.
Now let's keep it clean. But it makes people not care about themselves, firstly, because you're driving these ambitions. And I think in our industry, things are made to look so cool, and people, once you get to the back side of it, right, to the back end of it, you realize it's all made up, right?
Yeah.
But for someone who doesn't know, a normal consumer, they thinking that's how it is.
Yeah.
They thinking it really be like that, and it's not. And once you get yourself in it, and you get confused, and then
it just gets all lost in transitions.
Yeah, man.
So I like what you mentioned earlier. You said, we spoke about wellness.
Yes. Sir.
The whole premise of this podcast and radio series is really to talk about the wellness of men.
Yeah.
So I will obviously speak to different men in different spaces who are going through different things. So wellness is so broad. There's your physical wellness, just looking after your physique, taking care of your body. There's the mental wellness part of it, where we need to talk about depression, anxiety. Things happen in this world that we as men never want to openly talk about.
Yeah.
Then there's financial wellness. Guti, money is one of the things that makes it difficult for us as men to open up, because your ego.
Yeah.
Your ego. It's a big thing. So welcome. Let's get straight into it, my brother. The last time I spoke to you, I was even saying that Amatyma is really not about biology. So you can be an uncle and we regard you as a timer, right?
Right.
You can be a public figure. You're still a timer. It's not really limited to biology. You didn't have a child when you spoke the last time.
No, the last time you opened up that to me. No, I wasn't a dad yet.
Yeah. And
now, today, I'm 7 months a dad.
How does that feel? Congratulations.
Thank you, bro. That's crazy. Yeah, no, it's an amazing feeling, bro. It's a roller coaster. It's a reckoning, I guess, of my weaknesses. The things that I don't confront about myself. It's a reckoning for those things. And
did you get a girl or a boy?
A girl.
You got a girl.
Got a daughter, a beautiful daughter.
Sure.
Amahubo is her name.
Amahubo Khoza.
Yeah. Malpelele, it's like Amahubo Amahle Khoza.
Amahubo Amahle Khoza.
Yeah.
Do you think there's something significant about naming a child? Do you think that is something that's quite important out there when you name a child and give her a particular name? Is there an expectation?
No, not an expectation. I think giving a name to anything really gives it a sense of significance and relationship to you. And then above that, then it can become a conversation of like, what does the name mean? You know, we name things. We name our dogs. We name our pets. We name... I mean, I name my car, you know.
You name your car?
I even name my car, you know. But that for me means I'm treating you like someone who's significant to me. Because if I don't know your name, it means I don't know who you are. I mean, first thing we do is we introduce each other because I want you to know
this
me.
Is Ubanban.
Yeah, this is
Wagabo.
Yeah, it takes me beyond the human being.
Correct.
And when I say name my car, I never want to treat my car just as a car because I spend most of the time
in a tool of trade.
Yeah, it's a tool of trade, and I have a relationship with it. It must treat me nice. I must also treat it nice. So it pushes that relationship to a more intimate relationship where I gave it a name.
Right.
You know. So when you give it a name, you know when it's hungry, it needs gas. You know when it needs to bath, it needs to go to the car wash.
There's a point of reference.
There's a point of reference and relationship. I think with anything you give a name.
Sure.
So naming our child became it was an interesting thing because it was like, are we going to go for like a unique name? Are we going to go with tried and tested names? Are we going to... And for us as, God-fearing parents and my wife and myself, like, okay, what is most important to us? Not outside of the child, but alongside this new journey.
Yeah.
And it's God, bro.
Oh, it's at the center of it all.
It's at the center of it all. That's who we are. And apart from naming her as a person, I think it's also cementing this moment in our lives that it really does belong to God.
Sure.
Amahubo is Psalms in the...
It is Psalms.
In the Zulu Bible.
Yeah.
It's translated to Psalms.
Sure.
So we named her Beautiful Psalms.
Amahubo.
Yeah, because Psalms were also David's poems to God. About God, where he's just declaring and glorifying God with this amazing poetry and prose and in this text, so it's his devotion to God through that text or through that particular book.
Sure.
And we're like, okay,
this is the one.
This is the one.
You can tell you guys thought it out. There was a whole process to it. Tell me, 7 months ago.
Yeah.
What has changed for you as a man? Do you wake up thinking differently now that you've got a responsibility as a dad?
Yeah.
What's different?
I mean, I would say the weight of life is slightly more heavier.
Of course. There's another mouth to feed.
Yeah, I mean, that's the blatant reason.
Right.
Yeah, man. I think, people always say, oh, it gives you a sense of purpose. But I think that gives a driven person. I've always had a sense of purpose. I'm an actor, and I decided acting to me is my devotion to God, right?
Right.
It's my vocation.
You're sharing your talent with the world.
Yeah, His gift to me that I must gift the world. So I've always been driven, and they're always like, "Oh, it gives you a sense of purpose," and I'm like,
so you don't believe that?
Not that I don't believe that. I believed it before the child.
Okay, now that you have the child, you feel that your purpose hasn't been shifted?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I think it's adding to the things that my gift is blessing.
Ah, okay. I see.
It's adding. I mean, my wife and I are together for a long time.
Right.
And
what's a long time? I mean, a long time is very relative, eh?
Today is 13 years, 12 years, bro.
Is it your anniversary today?
Yeah.
So I invited you on your anniversary.
On my anniversary day. Come on, give me one more.
Happy anniversary to you and your beautiful, gorgeous, friendly wife. You're blessed, my brother. And
Thank
may
you.
your union, grow tenfold. And are you planning to have more babies?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I am. I think every difficult thing has its reward.
Yeah.
Jesus in the Bible, he said, blessed are the weak. In Matthew 5 verse 7, like, blessed are the weak, blessed are the meek. And he names all these difficult things, like the weak, the ones that are mourning, the ones that are poor. But he conjuncts it with like this intense reward, right?
Yeah.
So I think the weak is like, blessed are the weak because the kingdom of heaven belongs to them. You're like, hey. Blessed are those who mourn because they will be consoled by God himself.
Yeah.
Blessed are the meek, because they shall inherit the earth. You know, that verse is very powerful for me, because it's like, it makes me actually want to chase the difficulty,
right,
and the pain, because God has promised an incredible reward. It's different thing. He says, blessed are the weak, they'll get R1 million one day in their life.
Yeah.
It's a different story when he says, you're going to inherit the earth, or the kingdom of God is yours. It's just like, wow. Like, difficult is actually 2 levels. There's an earthly difficult,
and
and then there's a spiritual difficult that you're going to be rewarded with.
Sure.
So I don't mind. I mean, it's tough to be a parent. You know this very
well.
I know two beautiful daughters.
Been there, you know,
Yeah.
and it's a journey, you know. We are obviously sharing our journeys and our stories, and for me, the reason I was so keen to have you on the show is obviously to share your journey of now moving into fatherhood, you know. Are you looking at raising your daughter differently from how your father raised you? How did your dad raise you, by the way? Your dad is still alive, right?
Yeah, my dad
Shout
is
out
still
to
alive.
Amatyma. Shout out to Amatyma. You are what you are because of your dad's teachings, no doubt about that.
100%. Both my parents are still alive, and I credit who I am to really both my parents.
Right.
I'm the last born, so a percentage of that also goes to my 2 older siblings.
Right.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't say different. I just think I would try have a little more control on the circumstantial things, and I think by virtue of us being born in different times, you know, my parents were born, you know, in the 50s. They went through apartheid.
Right.
They went through a country that was
in turmoil. Yeah.
Bro. It was quite difficult. So by virtue of that, we won't really be raising.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
you know,
the circumstances are different.
Bro. I was born 91, you know, just before Mandela
was released.
Yeah. So we're also kind of at that crossroad where my daughter's born in a pretty good time.
Yeah, she doesn't know anything about
She doesn't even know COVID, you understand?
Absolutely.
So that's just like, a clean slate. So I think just by that, she's going to be different. But there's a lot of things I actually want to retain from
what your dad has instilled in you.
Yeah, man.
Was your dad strict?
No. Yeah, he was.
Yeah. It's either he was strict or he wasn't. You know, there's no gray areas when it comes to black dads. We all know that.
Strict as he should be.
Big shy.
No.
Nix.
Yeah. No, you see what I'm saying? So maybe I'm just like...
Yeah, I mean, I was born in 79, obviously.
Yeah,
that
apartheid anger came out on you.
There was a lot of apartheid anger, and, you know... But also, you know, I must give it to my parents, and a lot of parents in that era, because they had to deal with a lot. Imagine being a man like my father, and he has to go work and get called a boy by a white little boy, and then he has to come back home and still assume his position as a man.
Yeah.
You know, that must have been tough for them.
Yeah,
and
man.
I think that's why most of them ended up being so angry.
No, for sure.
And we have to appreciate the fact that we are what we are because of their teachings, right?
Yeah.
So what is the one thing that you want to do differently from what your dad did when he was raising you guys?
Doug, there isn't a lot, bro. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
Like, I was raised, I would say, near perfect.
Right.
If there's anything that in my childhood that I would change is maybe how I went about things.
As a boy, you were not...
I would say I was rebellious,
right.
you know, and maybe because economically and even psychologically, our parents' definition of freedom, you know, in every term of the way, right?
Yeah.
So it was, I would say, maybe flawed.
Okay.
Or maybe unlearned to a certain degree.
Okay, or maybe misunderstood.
I hear
right?
you. So when you're raising a kid and you're someone from that era, and they want freedom.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking at them saying,
I want this, I want that.
Yeah.
It's interpretation.
Right? But it's also like, I don't know what that means.
True.
Because I've never had it.
I've never experienced it.
Yeah. I don't know what you want.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But you're like, but no, my white friends, or let's say my Model C friends, are living this type of way.
And I want to live the same type of way.
And I want to live the same. And it's like, it's not that they hate you and don't want you to have it. They're just like, but we don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
We were never taught that. We don't know.
True.
And that's why I'm saying my parents were actually amazing, because by virtue of them not understanding something, I have the type of parents who are like, show us then. You know, they're a teachable human beings.
We're willing to learn. We're open-minded.
Same. You know, that's how I guess I became an actor, because my sister's my older sister is a scholar.
Right.
Not a scholar, but like an academic. My
Right.
brother's also an academic. They're both, I think they're still studying for their masters.
Sure.
Or
MBA.
Yeah. My sister's an MBA.
Oh.
MBA, even facilitator at Gibbs. You know, my brother's, you know, he's working at APSA. But he's like, you know, he did his masters in psychology, went overseas, came back. So it's like, for them, that's what they know.
Yeah.
If a kid says,
that's their only point of reference.
if he says, I need 10 rand to go to the library, they're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But when you tell me I need 10 rand
to go for an audition, it's like you're dlalis.
You're like,
They used to call it, they would say adlala, more actor, right?
You understand?
I got you.
So for me, I could have had parents who were stuck
with the traditional ways
With the
of you must be a
traditional
lawyer or a
ways.
doctor or a teacher.
Yeah, like, things must go this way. And it
Yeah.
was that for a while. Obviously, it didn't come with no resistance. It was that for a while, but I think through God's grace and, you know, through their also opening up and
willingness
to receive the unknown, they were rewarded with a kid, you know.
The creative genius.
Yeah.
Do you regard yourself as a creative genius?
Not on radio, but yeah. If you say that, I'll agree. Thank you.
I acknowledge you as a creative genius.
No, I appreciate
What
you.
is the one thing that you'd like to say to your dad right now that you've never said or never had an opportunity to say to him?
Man, I love you, bro. I love you so much. I just want to be just like you, my nigga. Like,
yo.
Every day. I mean, I said this at my wedding, and we've been very close since quite recently, you know.
Right.
I think it was also me kind of entering the manhood stage.
Yeah.
And we could kind of not see each other as equals, never. But, you know, there was a respect. And I said at my wedding that, like, for the longest time I've woken up every day just trying to be just like you.
Sure.
Like,
And you've never told him this?
I told him this in front of everybody at my wedding. Yeah.
But what I asked you is, what is the one thing you've never said to him? That you'd like to say to him that, I mean, yes, you've said this at his wedding. Maybe you're just reiterating it now, which is really powerful. But is there something that you've never actually said to your dad that you wish you could say to him if he was listening to this right now? I put you on the spot then, eh?
You did, but like the thing is, my dad and I are close.
Right.
And my family is a family where my dad loves his family. So
and I've met your dad, by the way.
You've met my dad, yeah. You guys get along.
Pleasure. I know, we got along.
So
There's so much to talk about.
So you know this gent, bro. He loves a full table with his grandkids, and every single reason to celebrate or bring us together we do, whether it's a birthday, Father's Day, Mother's Day.
Doesn't matter.
So we often have these moments,
right,
to speak, whether it's his birthday, whether it's, you know, it's the anniversary, or it's a, you know. But that's what I'm trying to think of, like, what haven't I told him?
Right.
I know things I'd like to enforce and reassure him.
All right.
But what I haven't told him maybe is that I'm raising my kid the same way he raised me, man.
You're raising his grandchild.
Yeah, I'm raising his grandchild with all the principles and with all the lessons that he instilled in me. Verbatim.
Right.
Verbatim.
Yo.
Like, I'm doing it exactly like he's doing it.
You've got the template, so you have no excuse, right?
Yeah, man. That's what I'd say to my pops right now. Be like, bro, I'm doing it the way you did it. I'm doing it the way you did it.
That is powerful, bro. You know, I wish I could have had you for longer. I need to have you back, because I think we need to unpack a lot of things around the wellness of men. I think we want to try and get as many men with influence like yourself and myself to push the narrative that as Amachita, as men, as fellas, call it what you want, boykies. There's so many words.
You had a WhatsApp group though, right?
I've got a Telegram group.
You got a Telegram group?
Yeah, I've got a Telegram group. There's about 1,050 men in that group from all walks of life.
Yeah.
From your blue collar workers to guys who are unemployed to CEOs. And the reason we've got this group is we come in there with no titles.
Yeah.
We come in there as men who are just seeking to learn from other men, to seek advice from other men.
Yeah.
Because this manhood journey is long.
Yeah.
And it's complicated.
And it's tough.
And it's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough.
And being, I would say, I was telling you the other day that like now I'm fully a man. Because before it's like, you married, whatever. But now I've got except grandkids. Now I've got every box. I've checked every box.
Yeah.
But I think what's really important for us, right? I think the problem, our issues are really social issues.
Yeah.
And there's one thing for example, it's one thing for a hospital to treat every COVID patient that comes in.
Yeah.
But it's a bigger conversation to say, how does one contract COVID and how can we stop it before?
Yeah. Prevention.
Yeah. Before these guys even get to the hospital.
Yeah.
So it's a difference between treating and finding a cure.
Yeah.
Right? Because we can treat each other as much as we can, but if we haven't addressed the social dynamic of what's going on in the world,
the root cause
of perception, identity, culture, tradition, being a Zulu man, for an instance, or and tackling all these things outside of the hospital.
Yeah.
I'll for example, I'll say the Telegram group is a hospital.
Correct, because everyone comes in there with their own need.
Will come in and heal.
Yeah.
But we as men maybe also need to have a certain division in the army to address the cure from outside.
I got you.
People to research, where does this thing come from? How does it happen? So then, we can start converting each other from the inside.
I like that.
And have emptier and emptier hospitals as we go.
I like that. And keep releasing more patients.
Keep releasing, more,
as we go.
Exactly.
Gender-based violence is a big scourge. It's a big pandemic. The biggest perpetrators of gender-based violence are men.
Yeah.
It's us.
And if you go deep to the root of that, the biggest cause of gender-based violence is drugs and alcohol.
It is substance abuse.
Yeah.
And
not the biggest, but probably the biggest.
It is the biggest contributor.
But there's also more to that as well. I'm on a show right now on Showmax called Red Ink.
Yeah.
And I play the serial killer, and I think what was really fascinating for me was kind of getting to the backstory of how these men are created. And it's people like me and you, Tato. They're just gents, or let's say back when we were all 6 years old or 3 years old, we were all innocent. Ordinary kids.
Good kids.
And the world and the society, it's so deep, does something to men.
That drives them to that.
Because
we are not all born rapists.
No, never.
We are not all born to hate.
Never.
That's what Mandela once said, that we can't all be born racists.
Yeah.
You learn it. Someone imparts that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So how are we going to address that?
Sure.
How do we get to that root to say, man, it starts at the root. It starts with these kids.
Sure.
It starts. I'm looking at my daughter right now, and I'm like, dude, I want nothing with you.
I gotta protect you.
Bro.
With everything I have.
I'm not playing games with nobody with my daughter, bro.
Sure.
No ways. From the smallest things, because I know what those things can turn into when you grow older. And then you end up having to, join Amatyma now because you have these scars for a long time. Amatyma is a great initiative, but it's like, it just pains me to think there's a 40-year-old man who's telling us his childhood traumas.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, we could have
nipped it in the bud
in the beginning.
Then. Yeah. We've got a lot of childhood traumas as black men that we need to unpack. I need you to come back, bro.
I got you.
There's so much. What do you want to say as your parting shot to men out there? Because I'm obviously trying to invite a lot of men to come on this platform, to come and talk. We don't just talk to men who are celebrities. We talk to ordinary men, because we don't want to just make this a celebrity show. But
100%.
we bring people like you who've got influence, because that influence can be multiplied across your different platforms as well. What do you want to say to that man who's listening to this or who's watching this going forward?
To all the gents out there, I just want to say that you are not alone. We are all humans. We are all men.
Yeah.
And we have more in common than you think. Some might not show, as much as the other, or some might be further into an issue than the other. But trust me standing here as Bonko Khoza, I wake up with the same issues, the same questions in my head. What am I gonna do? Why am I here? Is there enough money? What's the next move? We're the same, and I think by me saying that, wherever you are, let's connect. Let's connect. You don't need to be an island. You don't need to be out on your own. You might find that the man next to you is more your friend than your enemy.
Sure.
By virtue of us, we're going through the same thing, gents.
Sure.
And I think we need to get together and let's work it out and share our experiences and share our solutions and see which is pelelapi.
Thank you for your time, my brother.
Thank you, boy.
My brother Bonko Khoza on the episode of Amatyma series in partnership with Bogart Radio. We want men to talk. We want men to talk. Aseringi bafethu. Buwa munna. Khuluma ndoda. Sibonge sivale sithi danko timer.